Welcome back. Welcome back. Boy, it was like, I love it. It's so sincere. It's not like there's a coaxing or anything for applause. I live for it, really. And you can come down here and be part of our group on Thursday nights at Bernie's Bungalow upstairs at 5:30 on Thursday nights is when we tape. I'm so glad our panel is here because this is something, this time of year, people seem to be thawing out in more ways than one and thinking about what they need to be doing, whether it's planting something or catching something or making plans to do those things. And Karen Olson is here. She manages the Matanuska Creamery. She has seen both the ups and the downs of the state's dairy industry, which I understand there's been both. She grew up milking cows on her parents' homestead outside of Wasilla, and she started one of the first dairy farms at Point McKenzie, and she was there when Matt Maid went under. The Matanuska Creamery is now processing milk from the remaining 4 dairies still operating in the area. I'm glad you're here. And not at a teabag rally. Really?
I believe in the coffee party myself.
That's right, the coffee party. Well, you know, you've got milk for either one, apparently. River Bean is here, and he and his wife Sarah own and operate the 10-acre Arctic Organics Farm, the longest-running organic farm in the state. He began working the land near the Matanuska Glacier in 1987. 2 years later, River started what is probably Alaska's first subscription program selling organic produce to his neighbors. Initially, the Beans supplemented their farm with jobs. Now it's the farm full-time, and I'm glad you're here. And you're one of several people, I understand, who do these box subscriptions that are here. And Patricia O'Neill is here. She's with Alaska State Division of Agriculture. She grew up in California. Outsider. No,
I know.
I'm kidding. What does your button say?
Alaska grown. But let's remember that refers to products, not people.
Oh, well, it depends on who the people are. She studied agribusiness management in college, and after moving to Alaska 3 years ago, she ended up promoting Alaska Grown with the Division of Agriculture. So I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thanks. I love Alaska Grown. I really do, even when you're seeing it on national TV on a sweatshirt, you know, with like baby herb on the shoulder. I think it's such a great, I love it, don't you? Alaska Grown. Just, I don't know, it means better than grown anywhere else, pretty much to me. So a couple of questions for you, actually for all of you. People had sent a couple emails to me tonight when I said I was going to do the show on local gardening or local foods or what that means and why that's important. And people were asking me a couple things. They were like, what makes it organic? Because there's a bunch of stuff that people say is organic or you think it's organic just because it's local. It might not be. So do you have milk products? Are those considered?
No, they're not organic. Organic is a certification program run by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And for milk, it's very difficult for small farms to convert. There's no place in Alaska that has organic qualified grain that you can buy.
So it's not just, it's about what your cows are eating then?
Yeah, and it's supposed to be kept away from pesticides and so on. But up here, we don't use much pesticide in the first place. And most of the farms here use organic fertilizer in the form of manure. I always say to be really organic, you have to, a lot of things have to defecate and die. And I don't think people realize that.
Got milk? Oh, that's nice.
But manure is really an excellent fertilizer. And
there's
it's
a couple,
organic.
Yeah, there's a couple of places that are using, I know I grew up on the peninsula where they had this fishy peat, I think it was called, and they were making this compost out of fish guts and heads and tails and whatever, and you know, it was going right back in and working. There's a place in Soldotna, I think, that mixes wood chips with fish guts and makes, I'm sure that's just a lovely thing for the neighbors. But, you know, hey, it's organic. So what, and you know, on yours, River, it says, and by the way, you really have a great name, River Bean, for like what you do. I mean, I don't know what else you could do. It just seems like, I guess you could be like a kayak guide or something. But so you have what is considered organic produce. So you've got things defecating and dying over at your place all the time. I mean,
totally.
Well, let's talk about this thing organic, because we have wild salmon, we have organic salmon now, and there is such a thing on the market that's called organic salmon, but it's actually pen raised.
Yeah,
it's farm raised, but they're feeding it organic stuff. So there's this confusion, and it makes me mad as hell. I'm like, really, you raised it in a pen?
Yeah.
And you're going to call that organic because you fed it something organic, whereas we've got wild salmon which are organic, but they can't call them organic. What? How do you get to just have the organic sticker?
We don't.
But it says organic on my blue paper, and my blue paper tells me.
I know, and our name is Arctic Organics, but we, since the federal government took over the word organic, we can no longer claim that our product is organic. So we don't. It is guaranteed toxin-free and sustainably grown, but it is not, we can't list it as organic.
So organic
because the federal government, with their weak standards, are being lobbied regularly by agribusiness and washing down already the weak standards. And Alaska used to have the weakest standards in the nation, and then we started the Alaska Organic Association and made them really strong standards. But when the federal government took over the word organic, we were illegal. We could no longer certify. They don't allow farmers on the board, et cetera. So
I think this is grounds for secession. Just saying.
well,
no, I'm kidding.
we do. I mean, we have seceded from the word organic.
Well, it's, I think part of the reason that the federal government came in, and I could be wrong on this, is that people started using the word organic when it simply just wasn't
That's true.
at all. And so it started, everything was suddenly organic. And, they could even spell it with a different letter in there somewhere. And people were like, oh, well, we need to be on the organic kick. We watched Oprah, she's doing it, my God. And then everything's organic, and now they're trying to actually put some standards, but I'm sure it's a difficult process. So now what kind of word can you use, or do you just?
We don't. We just put on our signs that it's toxin-free and guaranteed sustainably grown.
What does sustainably grown mean?
Means that the practice that we're using can be used for generations and years. Like the Chinese, they've been growing in the same plots for 5,000 years, and you can't do that with chemicals.
Right.
The chemicals would burn out the organic matter in the soil. So
Pretty quickly. I mean, you have to replenish and do all
it
of
would
that.
kill all of the living organisms in the soil.
So maybe Alaska needs to take back and make our own standard for Alaskan organic, maybe.
We can't.
You can't.
We can't. The federal government has taken over that word, and they came out with a rule that no one can be higher than them.
But Patricia O'Neill is here with Alaska State Division of Agriculture. Why can we do something to make Alaska have our own thing? I'm serious. How much it bothers me that, like I was saying, the fish being organic. It's just not true. And now you don't get the sticker, but somebody in Chile does, and it's sitting in the grocery store.
As a state division of agriculture, we don't have any authority, again, like River was saying, over the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Just you can contact, my advice would be to contact here, a political response, but as far as like your congressmen or your senators to say, hey, this is important to Alaska, and we want this to change, but that's really how it's going to change. The one thing that producers can do is, or I should say producers can do, but there can be a third-party verification, and so that's where USDA comes in, and there are independent, which you would know, there are independent companies that can verify it's organic. But as you did say, those standards did come about because people were, and you can see that a lot with even natural now. Everything is all natural. There aren't any standards for what it means to be natural. And I know producers that have wild cattle off Sitkinak Island, and it's an all Alaskan grown meat, and they're labeling it as such, and they have it as all natural. But if you put that on all natural meat next to Tyson's chicken, it's how do you compare what's natural? They have a different meaning. Just like River grows things organically, but he can't label it as USDA organic because he's not certified as that. And I know he also feels strongly about how he produces his product versus what the USDA standards are, and I can respect that.